Alright, y'all, I want to do a quick video on what it's like to have a seizure. This is, well, here's my prescription. It might not seem like I have seizures. I carry myself well. I'm a really ambitious person. I'm confident. And if you were to get to know me, you wouldn't even know that I would have seizures, because pretty much my medicine works very well. My medicine works as long as I take it every single day. It works. Here and there, I might have a controlled seizure, but it's not bad. And I'm going to tell you the differences of the major ones and the more subtle ones that really don't bug me that much. I've had seizures since I was in elementary school. There are instances where I might collapse and have to go to the hospital, but that's happened very rarely. So far, I can recall I've collapsed and had to go to the hospital 3 times. One was in elementary school, one was when I was at home at my cousin's house, and then the third time was 2 years ago and I was at my grandma's house. So let's get into it. So far, there are like 3 different types of seizures that I have. I know I have to look into the different types of seizures, because me, like, sometimes it's bad, but the majority of the time they're controlled because my medicine works. My medicine works, and sometimes people have different types of seizures. And if you can see, I do have a tiny bit of a speech impairment. I can see it in my mouth. I have a slight bit of a speech impairment, but so far, my seizures does not affect me and how well I learn, how well I perform. It definitely doesn't really affect my personality or anything. So far, I'm pretty much just like everybody else, except one thing. I still have a disability, and it doesn't have anything to do with how well I learn. I can talk, think, and move correctly. I would say I am more vulnerable in the head. So I am definitely much more vulnerable than the average human being. I can't do boxing. I can't play football. I try to do football, but I'm definitely more vulnerable in the head than everybody else. So I'm still athletic. I can go to the gym. I can work out. I'm pretty strong. I can do a lot of shit. So if you were to get to know me, like I said, you would never know that I have seizures, because I carry myself well. I'm athletic. I can do mostly what every average human being could do. But I'm definitely more vulnerable in the head. So I would be a little bit on the fence on people who would probably attack me. So basically, in my experience of having seizures, basically what it's like going to sleep and having a big ass headache. A major fucking headache. Like the worst headache you can absolutely imagine. Basically going to sleep, sleeping with a massive fucking headache. It is absolutely horrible. So everybody knows what it's like to go to sleep. And if you're sick, if you've ever been sick, imagine having a headache and sleeping with that headache, but it's 10 times worse. 10 times worse. Now, in that case scenario, I'm mainly sleeping. This is one of the more worser seizures. When I have the bad seizures, honestly, I never experienced the seizure. That's the crazy thing. I never experienced the seizure when I'm unconscious. So you would see me shaking on the ground, and I'm not experiencing the seizure. I'm basically knocked the fuck out, but my body is twitching and I'm like moving. So I'm knocked the fuck out, but you see me having a seizure. I never experienced that. The thing is, I never experienced a seizure. I only experienced the after effects. So if I have a seizure and I pass out, I only experience the bad part when I wake up. So when I'm recovering, that's when it gets bad. When I recover from the seizure, that's what I experience. I never experienced the seizure itself. I only experience the after effects. But that's when it gets bad. Usually the after effects is when I have a big ass headache. I'm very, very, very tired. Everybody's tired when they wake up from sleeping. But me, when I wake up, it's like I came back from the fucking dead. So after I have the seizure and I'm recovering, I have a big ass headache. I'm overly tired. Everybody's tired when they get up from sleeping, but this is beyond tired. I feel like I came back from the dead with a big ass headache. And I also bite my tongue when I'm having a seizure. For some reason, I bite my tongue and it's sore, it's tongue sores on my tongue when I wake up. That takes a while to recover. Sometimes I even bite my lip and there's sores on my lip that I have to recover from. Usually the recovery takes about 2 weeks, 1 week to 2 weeks. Have to get some medicine for my headache. And that's the bad part. That's the worst of seizures that I experience. Now, the controlled seizures, I actually sometimes do experience that, and I am conscious while having it. And this is where I can tell you what it's like, because I'm also conscious, but it's not a bad seizure. I'm more so having a subtle seizure, but I'm also conscious. And this is what it's like. So these aren't bad ones. I never have a headache with these. I'm not really biting my tongue when I have the controlled seizures. But what it's like for me in that case scenario, I'm awake, but it's like I can't control myself. So it's me, I'm shaking, and I'm awake, and I feel myself shaking, and it's like my brain is having electrical contractions. So when I'm having a seizure, it's like I'm feeling electricity in my brain contracting to my forehead. So I'm having a seizure and I feel like this electrical impulse in my brain. It's like shoo, 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 coming into my forehead. So when I'm having a seizure and I'm conscious, I feel like this electrical pulse coming into my forehead, trying to come into my forehead, and that's what makes me go forward. Like, that's what makes my body go forward when I'm having a seizure. Like, it's like this electrical pulse pulling my forehead, and it doesn't hurt, but at the same time, I'm trying to fight it. It's like a mental battle that I'm trying to fight. It's like I can't move. I'm trying to get my brain to tell me to move, but no matter how hard I try to move my body, I just can't move. And I just basically have to sleep it off. Now, sometimes I can move if I fight hard enough. There has been instances where I had a bit of a slight seizure and I was able to like get up. And basically those are times when I have naps during the day. So it's really difficult to get control over my body when I have those types of seizures. And the best thing for me to do in those scenarios is to just sleep it off. Basically just sleep it off. Honestly, if I were to die having a seizure, it would not be painful. Like, it would be a peaceful death, because honestly, when I'm unconscious, I never experienced a seizure. So if I were to die of it, it would be a peaceful death. Honestly, that's the good part of it. Like, honestly, everybody does have different seizures, like epilepsy. People with epilepsy and people who have seizures, there's different scenarios. I heard that some people can't even walk or talk. I'm really grateful to have the ability to do average human things, but because the medicine does work. Now, here's the exception. If I miss 1 to 2 doses of my medicine, I am guaranteed to have a seizure within 1 to 3 days. I think the most I can go, probably a week or 2, but the time that I noticed that my medicine was very vital to me not having seizures was a few years ago when I missed a dose. Because now I'm realizing, okay, I know that if I miss 1 to 2 doses of medicine, I'm putting myself at risk of collapsing and going to the hospital or having a seizure. So there were 3 scenarios when I collapsed, and one scenario where I was put in a situation where I didn't have any medicine because my doctor had retired and he wasn't responding. This was completely on my doctor. I was taking I always take my medicine. I do not deny. I take it every single fucking day. The first time I collapsed and had to go to the hospital was actually, I was with my mom, and she called the 911, and I went to the hospital. But when I collapsed in public, this was when I was in elementary school, and I had to go to the hospital, and my teacher had to watch over me while I was at the hospital. That was the first time when I collapsed, when I was in public. The second time was when I was at my cousin's house, and I fell on the floor. This is when I received a minor concussion because I fell on the floor, and I was laying there. They told me that I was knocked the fuck out for 2 damn days. 2 days. When I collapsed at my cousin's house, they told me I was knocked the fuck out for 2 fucking days. 2 days. So that's how bad it can get. And that's when I received a minor concussion. The third time was when, the third time was when I was at my grandma's house. I woke up, they called the cops, and I went to the hospital. Now, there was another scenario where my employer, I'll just save that for another time, but that story pissed me off. But there were 3 situations where I had collapsed and had to go to the hospital. And I'm really glad that my medicine works. My medicine does work. This is my prescription once again. And I just want to say one thing. Fuck Neon, because this motherfucker literally faked his death with my type of condition. Another thing, my doctor, they looked into my brain. They can't find no tumors or anything. They don't know. They didn't find any tumors. I don't have any tumors in my head. So they can't find anything. That's the weird thing about my seizures. They can't find anything. I don't have any tumors. I don't think I don't have brain cancer. I don't know. I hope not. But they can't find anything. All they know is I have seizures and I'm taking my medicine, and it does work. So I'm glad I'm on my medicine. I walk around, and if you were to meet me, you would never know I have seizures. But I do. And I just live off of my medicine. So far, it's not really that bad for me unless I have missed medicine. Unless I've missed my medicine, that's when shit gets real. So the majority of the time, I don't have seizures as long as I'm taking my medicine. But there have been instances where I've been put into scenarios and it wasn't my fault, and it caused me to have a seizure. And there was a situation where I was at my job. In the meantime, yeah, that's what it's like to have a seizure. Basically, when it comes to controlled seizures, I cannot, it's like a battle. It's like a battle in the brain where I'm trying to fucking move and I cannot. I'm just shaking and I'm trying to move, but I can't. So that's what it's like to have a seizure. You don't experience the seizure. For me anyway, because a lot of people have different types of seizures and they experience different scenarios. But me, specifically me, I don't experience the seizure. I only experience the after effects. Basically a headache, waking up with a big ass headache. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing anything. Tongue bites on my lip. Tongue bites and everything. I'm tired. I just got to recover. That's the only thing I experience when I have a bad seizure, like grand mal's. I only experience the after effect. While I'm having it, I'm fucking knocked out. I may be shaking, but I'm not experiencing the shaking. Unless it's a controlled seizure and I'm napping during the day. Those I do experience, but it's not painful. In fact, what's crazy, I'm gonna tell you a weird thing about having those types of seizures. Seizures, honestly, they either enhance your sleep or they make your sleep worse. And I'm talking about that for me. Because sometimes that pulse in my head, sometimes it does give me a little bit of a sensation and it makes my sleep a little bit more better. But then there's scenarios where it's really bad. So it makes my sleep worse. So it can either enhance or make your sleep worse. In the meantime, yeah, that's what it's like to have a seizure. You're basically shaking and you're not in control. No matter how hard you fight, it's like you cannot move. That's what it's like for me specifically. And I'm really glad that the medicine works for me. For some people, it doesn't. The medicine definitely works for me every single day. I love this medicine. And I wanted to experiment with other medicines in case this didn't work, but I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to try any other medicine because this one works so well. It's like, you know what? Why bother? Because this one works. Like, again, here is my prescription. I'm not making shit up like Neon. This is why I hate fucking creators on YouTube. Influencers. So retarded. This is why I want to have a better influence on the media and reverse engineer how social media is, because these creators out here are fucking crazy, bro. Anyways, how do I feel about having seizures? Well, I'll talk about it in another video. Y'all have a nice day.